Here's the thing, Creaky, is that you're saying that you're a real person and carrying on with a YouTube channel saying that you're a human. But who's to say that you are, right? I don't know if you heard about AI, but it could very well be that you're just an AI person.
First of all, who the f*** are you? And secondly, it's not the worst Irish accent I've heard, but I'm Welsh, you knob. Please subscribe.
I'm making a response to a response to a response to a response. No more responses. I'm ending it. Creaky Blinder, one of the lowest tier atheists I have ever come across, made an hour-long video of me, and of course he has to insult me in the title. He has to pick this bad picture of me, because that's all he has. His arguments, his humor, everything about him is literally a 15-year-old. And so when he makes a video on me and he has 70,000 subscribers.
78,125, thank you very much.
All his fans come and they come and insult me. You can go and read the comments for yourself. None of them even address anything that I said. I mean, if you're an honest atheist, you're going to at least say that they're just insulting me. They're not addressing anything that I'm saying.
Well, Theist X, on this occasion, I'll agree with you. Take me, for example. I would hate it if somebody insulted me by saying things like, I wasn't funny, or that I'm a low-tier atheist. No, wait, I don't care, because I'm a grown-up.
All of the comments are just insulting me. It's very annoying. His audience comes and they just leave these dumb comments. And these are grown adults. I mean, just to show you the level of comments that I'm getting, read this comment. They said historical evidence, that's just silly. Philosophical evidence, that's not evidence. Even the claim that a necessary truth exists is wrong. The law of non-contradiction, he doesn't believe in that. So how exactly am I going to reason? Am I going to use logic if they don't believe in the law of non-contradiction?
Yeah, but he actually said a bit more than that, didn't he, Theist X? I thought you only liked honest people. And what he said was it was silly for you to use historical evidence because you claim that evidence for God cannot be tested by science.
If they don't believe in necessary truth, is logic a necessary truth? Yes. Logic is proven via impossibility of the contrary. Logic has to exist.
Okay, so logic is often seen as a necessary truth because it's the framework we use to understand and structure our thoughts and arguments. Now, without logic, it would be really tough to have a clear and consistent conversation or build up a scientific knowledge. But can you explain to us, Theist X, what's logical about believing in someone or something whose existence is highly unlikely at best? Belief in God relies on faith, which is a deep personal conviction tied to religion. Santa Claus, for example, while believed in by many children, is usually understood to be a fictional character as people grow older. But the belief in God, for those who are religious, like Theist X here, typically continues into adulthood and shapes their worldview and life choices.
But this person says, oh, even to claim that is wrong. How am I going to reason with these people? That is a problem. Like any atheist, any thinking person who watched our exchange, Creaky literally offered nothing except assertions and bad jokes, and I was actually trying to have a conversation.
Creaky offered nothing but assertions and bad jokes. Now, for somebody who's claiming to not like insults on YouTube, you seem to be doing a lot of them, Theist X. And that's why nobody will ever take you seriously. You're a child. I've got a belt that is older than you.
And so now I've got to respond to his video, and I'm going to try and make it entertaining, because now it's just a huge loop because there's so many responses. So I'm ending this.
Oh, so does that mean I'm not allowed to make this video responding to you? Theist X, you'll know when this has ended, because I will stop making videos about you.
Alright, Creaky. By your logic, I suppose that the word Bible or the word God is also true. Cause you see, it's just a word, and how can a word not be true?
Can you stop with the stupid Irish accent? I am Welsh, not Irish. And I'll say again, who the f*** are you? And why has Theist X asked you to help him respond to me? Is he not man enough to do it himself? Even the word false is true if you want to get down to it. But for atheism not to be true, it would first need to be what it isn't, a belief system. But as I've said, It's actually a noun used to describe a person who doesn't believe in God or gods.
Atheists really think this is some big gotcha moment. They say, you don't even know what atheism is. Literally explained it in so many of my videos. Atheism, a disbelief in God, lack of belief in God. There is no God. Not that hard to understand. There are atheistic worldviews because of course, we don't just have certain beliefs or disbeliefs. It fits in a web of beliefs, a worldview. This influences our ethics, our epistemology, our metaphysics, all of these things. Atheism influences your worldview. Why is this so hard to understand?
Because you're crap at explaining it. Atheism has no effect on my life whatsoever, apart from one thing. The fact that I do not believe that there is a God. If you want to believe in God, that's fine. But all atheism is me saying, I don't believe that a God exists. You say you believe he does. I say, prove it to me. You say you can't. So I say, well, I don't believe you then.
In a response video, I give lots of evidence for God, lots of papers that he can read. And he says, that's not evidence. So again, we're just going to see him assert his position. There's no evidence.
Look, it's 2023. Science today is more advanced than it's ever been. Do you not think that if there was any real evidence for the existence of God, somebody would have presented it by now? Because whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, the Bible is not proof that God exists. The Bible is proof that people wrote a book over 2,000 years ago. And also philosophy. Philosophy is not evidence that God exists. All that is a conversation about the possibility of God existing.
There is no evidence. That's all he has, is just assertions that there is no evidence.
Yeah, but is it an assertion if what I'm saying is factually accurate? There simply is not any evidence that can demonstrate the existence of a God or gods. And that's why I keep saying there is no evidence for God. Because there isn't. Now, does that mean you shouldn't believe in him? No, of course it doesn't. You are free to believe in whatever you choose. In exactly the same way as I am completely free to not believe. How rude. I didn't brush past anything. I just cut out some of the parts that I found boring.
He really just said that. I didn't brush past anything. I just cut out the parts that I thought was boring. You literally have no self-awareness. No one in his audience said, hey, Creaky, it's kind of inconsistent to just cut out parts of the video and not even address the arguments, which we're going to see more of in this video.
I'm awake. I'm not sleeping. I'm awake. You seem to enjoy it so much. Let me clear it up for you. What I was trying to point out is that even if you turned up at my front door hand in hand with God, I still wouldn't want anything to do with it.
Are we watching the same thing? He said I misrepresented him, but then he just affirmed what I said. He said that even if God came to his door, which would be the strongest evidence even to him that God is real, he still would not want anything to do with him.
No, I don't want to get nitpicky or anything, but for once you're right, Theist X. If God turned up at my front door and knocked, that would be perfect proof of his existence. It's never going to happen, so that's by the by. But you're right, I would not want anything to do with him because he sounds like a psychopath. But what the hell has that got to do with whether he exists or not? The two things aren't even connected.
How did I misrepresent you? You just said I misrepresented you, and then you just repeated the same exact thing, showing that your atheism is not a logical problem. You literally just said, if God came to your door, you still would not want anything to do with him.
Fine, I'll address logical problems then, Theist X. A logical problem is basically a brain teaser that requires using reasoning and critical thinking to solve it. It's like a puzzle where you have to apply the rules of logic to figure out the answer. So while logical problem solving skills can be applied to the question of God's existence, the question also goes well beyond pure logic, delving into areas of faith and spirituality and personal belief. Logic and faith operate in different domains. Logic is about reasoning and evidence, while faith and spirituality are more about personal belief. And what you personally believe to be true, I think is a load of old rubbish made up to control people through fear. It isn't the fact that I don't like God that makes me not believe in him. It's the fact that in spite of everything you go on to say in this video, you still haven't offered any evidence that would make me or any other atheist think, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe God is real.
God came to your door. You still would not want anything to do with him. So it doesn't matter all the evidence that I bring up, that I brought up in my response video. It doesn't matter.
Hang on a second. Has he made another video about me that I haven't seen? Well, he must have, because the videos I have responded to have certainly not had any evidence for God in them. All they've had is you banging on about philosophy every 30 seconds.
Because either if I prove them or not, if all the evidence is on my side or not, you're not going to follow God.
And that statement there proves 100% that you really don't get it, do you? If you were able to provide evidence that proved to me 100% for certain that God existed, then I would believe that he existed. That's not what's the issue here. The issue is that even if you could prove that he's real, which you can't because he isn't, but even if you could, as I said earlier, by turning up at my front door with him, I still wouldn't like him. Now then, I'm sure you don't like me, but do you believe that I exist? Obviously you do. I'm right here. Do you get it now?
Ideology has ramifications. It influences our behaviors. If you have certain beliefs, if you have certain disbeliefs, that's going to influence your behavior. I don't understand why his audience doesn't understand that.
Oh yeah, we can see that having an ideology has ramifications and can influence your beliefs. You haven't got to explain that one to us. All we've got to do is watch your content. And how do you know what my audience believes? What, you've assessed their overall belief system based off a comment they left on one of your videos?
If you don't believe you can die, that's going to affect your behavior. It's a disbelief. You're denying that you can die, just like they deny God. A disbelief, beliefs affect your behavior. Atheism, the disbelief, affects people's behavior in negative ways.
But how do you know that? And just a quick FYI, Theist X, disbelief and denial are not the same thing. Now, I know you're a much younger man than I am, probably half my age, but I'm guessing that you no longer believe that Santa Claus leaves you presents on Christmas morning. Now, what sort of negative impact does that disbelief have on your life? Exactly, none at all. The fact that you were claiming that being an atheist affects the way people behave shows just how little you understand about the topic. But that's the difference between me and you. You asserted that they are the way they are because they don't believe in God, which is completely insane.
Not completely insane. It's just basic pattern recognition. Lots of people from my audience used to be atheists, and they notice these things. Atheists notice these things in society too. Noticing patterns is not insane.
Okay, so there are some members of your audience that used to be atheist. Now, you've got just shy of 22,000 subscribers. So let's say that, I don't know, maybe 25... No, actually, let's make it 50% to be fair. So half of your audience used to be atheists, so that's 11,000 people noticing patterns. Now, as of 2022, there were 1.28 billion people on Earth who considered themselves to be atheist. And 11,000 people is approximately 0.00086% of 1.28 billion. So you're basing your assertion that atheism has a negative impact on people's lives on 0.00086% of the world's atheist population. That you were asserting that if somebody doesn't believe in God, then it would somehow have an impact on their mental capacity. Is that fair to say? Because that's what it sounded like you were saying. So let me ask you this. What about the people who don't believe in the Easter?
Interacting with a person like this is just like trying to have a serious conversation with a child, and they're just too immature. To say that God is just like the Easter Bunny is just dishonest. He knows this isn't true. And any honest atheist watching this knows that isn't true.
I didn't say that God and the Easter Bunny are the same, you smelly poo-poo head. And don't call me childish. I don't like it. It offends me. Bloody hell, is that the time? I'm getting on a plane soon, so I'm gonna have to call it a day here, I'm afraid. Now, there's a hell of a lot more to this video, so if you would like me to continue it when I get back from my vacation, then let me know in the comments section below. Thank you to everybody that supports me via Patreon and channel membership and all that good stuff. And yeah, I will see you. I'll see you when I get back. Oh, and sorry, there was only one video this week, but I ran out of time. This is so confusing because I'm trying to speak to you as if it's now. now, but really, this was all happening last week, before I went on holiday. I think I just dribbled then. Old man problems. I am 51 after all, and not 15 like Theist X thinks. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Doodle pip, bon voyage. Oh, you're still here then. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something new. If you did, then you'll probably enjoy this video as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you all again very soon, or in a few minutes if you do decide to watch this recommended video. Love you, bye.